So I'm out in my studio just recording some tutorials
for summer camp and for the summer intensive. So I thought I would quickly nip on and let's do chapter 7 from our book club, Break the Mould by Sinead Burke. Very excited this week in summer camp. I am actually giving away, I got a book down at Bridge Street Books, the Marcus Rashford book that I'm going to be doing in the next book club. And I'm going to give away a free copy to one of the lucky students in summer camp this week. So super excited about that. It is a great read. So highly recommend it. Okay, so chapter 7, this is on page 150, to live in a world not built for you. I hope you're all having a nice summer, by the way. Excellent weather. Okay, so she says, so far we've explored the things we like about ourselves. We've mapped out our differences and the similarities that unite us. We have worked on ways to be curious and to be kind. And we've discovered how we can use language and our voice for good in the world. But now is the time to stop focusing inward, to stop thinking about what we can do differently, and to look around to start thinking about how the world should change for us. In chapter 2, I told you a story about how I was given an opportunity to be taller, to change my body to fit in with the measurements of the world. I chose not to have that surgery. It wasn't the right choice for me then. And even more now. You see, I don't think of my body as something that makes me less of a person, nor do I see it as something that should make me feel embarrassed. I'm not disabled simply because I'm a little person. I'm disabled because when the world was being designed, it was not created for people who look like me. For a second, imagine what the world would look like if it was designed for me. Think of your house. How might it look different? What about the playground or a shop or a bike or an airplane or a car? If the world was designed for me, if everything was built for little people, it's likely that everyone else would be disabled. Well, maybe not everyone. I guess because you and me are close to the same height, by design my world might include you too. It would be our world. But as you get older and taller, your back would begin to ache as you would need to bend down to climb through small door frames or fill the dishwasher or wash your hands in smaller sinks. Trying to wash my hands and use the toilet in a public bathroom is when I remember that the world was not designed for me. I enter the bathroom, queue for a cubicle, go inside, and already there's a problem. The lock is too high for me to reach up and close it. I can't climb onto the toilet and reach over to close it either. It's far too tall. I'd fall. I have a routine that I've practiced in bathrooms all over the world. Firstly, I look for a bin. I turn it upside down, stand on it, and hope that it can bear my weight. Secondly, if there is no suitable bin, I hope that reaching high and using my phone to thwack the lock will close. Thirdly, if I still can't reach the lock, I take off my jacket and bag and lay them on the ground of the cubicle just at the divide between the door and the wall, hoping that someone outside will notice that I'm inside and won't try to come in. But if there's no suitable bin, if my phone won't work, and if I'm not wearing a coat or a bag, I ask a stranger for help. I open the door and scan the people who looks the kindest, though it's difficult to tell. I'll pick someone and say, "Hi, I'm Sinead. I'm sorry to bother you, but I can't reach the lock to close the door, and I really need to use the bathroom. Would you mind standing outside the door to make sure no one comes in, please?" Sure, no problem. It's what they always say. My independence is rooted in strangers' kindness. I use the toilet and leave the cubicle. I need to wash my hands. But the sink, soap dispenser and hand dryer are all out of reach. I imagine that you have experienced this too, given that most bathrooms are built for average height adults. I've learned to carry hand sanitizer with me to ensure my hands are clean, even when I can't reach the sink. Often I'll visit the disabled or accessible bathroom just to wash my hands because there the sink, the soap dispenser and hand dryer are all lower, as is the lock on the door. But the toilet is too high for me. It is designed at that height so that wheelchair users can transfer from their chair to the toilet with ease. It makes sense and is necessary, but it shows that even when we design for disabled people, we sometimes still only design for one kind of disability. But it isn't just disabled people who might feel like the world isn't designed for them. There are times that you could have felt this way too. Have you ever noticed the colours of plasters that we use to cover up small cuts and grazes? The people who design these plasters say the colour is nude, by which they mean it's the colour of skin. But whose skin? The colour of people's skin can vary so much, and these nude plasters are really only nude for one particular skin colour. It's the same with ballet slippers, underwear and lipsticks. How do you think it would make a dancer feel if they wanted to wear a pair of ballet slippers that match their skin colour, but the nude shoes don't match their skin at all? Although this may not seem important to people whose skin colour matches this definition of nude, it can make anyone who doesn't have white skin feel as if they aren't normal. Whether it's public bathrooms, clothing, plasters, ballet slippers, or the design of buildings, the way the world is built can either make life easy or much harder for some people. Be an architect for the day. Now that we have learned about the importance of design and have seen the ways in which it can include or exclude people, it's your turn to dream, imagine, and build a better world. But before you get started, remember that people come in lots of different shapes and sizes. And to accommodate everyone, or as many different people as possible, you need to be creative. Can you design ballet shoes or plasters that are engineered to change to the colour of the person wearing them? Can you create sinks that move up and down, either automatically or manually, to adjust to the height of the user? Tomorrow is your first day in this new job as an architect for the world. You can completely redesign it. Are you ready? Be bold and think outside the norm. Grab some pencils, crayons, big pieces of paper, and start designing your world. Can you build a playground that is safe, fun, and exciting for all children to use? Can you create clothes that alter and change as if by magic? Can you solve the problems of the future? And here's another unsung hero, the people you're not taught about at school. Zaha Hadid is a British Iraqi architect who showed the whole world a new way to design buildings. Zaha's designs can be seen in London, Glasgow, Rome, Vienna, New York, Michigan, Beijing, Seoul, Baku, and more. She looked at the world from a different angle and always created her buildings through this viewpoint. Her style was called deconstructivism, which means that she pulled things apart to figure out new ways to put them together again. In her drawings, Zaha's lines and structures were never predictable, and with her buildings curving into the sky almost as if they were built by magic. Zaha was the first and so far only woman to receive the Royal Gold Medal from the Royal Institute of British Architects. Zaha wasn't afraid to speak out, and she believed in herself and worked hard to make her mark on the world and effect real changes. She didn't let the world change who she was. Creating a classroom. How will you reach the light switches? Imagine your classroom. Can you visualize it? Now imagine that I am your teacher in that classroom. What would be out of my reach? What might I need help with? In my class, I couldn't close the blinds or open a window or turn a light switch on. I also wasn't told enough to display my students' artwork. This didn't make me a bad teacher. In fact, I was a great teacher. The classroom just wasn't designed for me, but it didn't mean that it couldn't be changed or that I wouldn't find a new way to do things. The other question that people sometimes ask me about was, how did I think my students would respond to me, as I would be smaller than them? The thing I found out was that it really didn't matter about the difference in our heights. The important thing was that I showed interest in the things they liked and listened to their point of view. And in return, they were happy to listen to me and to help me make the classroom a safe and accessible place for everyone. In my classroom, my students love football, and even though I didn't like it as much as they did, it was important to them. So it became important to me too. Every evening I watched the match highlights, learned who scored a goal and when, or who was fouled, or if the referee was out of order. Whether it was Manchester United or the US women's team at the World Cup, I didn't understand all of it, but I tried. My students laughed at me when I pronounced Megan Rapinoe's last name wrong. It's Rapinoe. Oh, oops, I got it wrong too. Rapinoe, by the way. And they were impressed when I told them that I admired Mohamed Salah. We created a common bond, and in return for me learning about their interests and valuing them, my students began helping me too. They helped me with the light switches, the blinds, rearranging the desks so I could see everyone and they could all see me, and hanging up the artwork. We were able to work together to make the classroom an accessible place where everyone felt respected. Now, last little bit for today, accessibility. is a noun to describe when the world and different products are designed for disabled people. Some examples are a ramp leading up to bus doors, which makes a bus accessible for a wheelchair user, a bumpy surface on the ground at train stations or by busy roads, which make the streets accessible for people who are blind or visually impaired. Even not wearing perfumes or scented fragrances can make the world more accessible for autistic people. So that is fantastic. That's our little bit of reading today in the Break the Mould book club, and I hope I will catch you guys again. And remember, all these replays are available on Facebook or over on our YouTube channel. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you can, if you like and subscribe, you can get notified as well, so you'll never miss one. Okay, I hope you're all having a fantastic summer. I'll see you all soon.